Hey everyone, welcome back to Realpolitik. Today we're going to be talking about the latest developments in Ukraine from May the 10th, 2023. This is going to be a quick update, so let's get right into it. All right, in Kherson region, the Russians claim they shot down a Su-25. The Ukrainians are constantly moving troops and supplies closer to the coast to cross over to the Russian side. And the Russians claim they also targeted an ammo depot as well. Now, also in Zaporizhia region, right around here, another ammo depot the Russians claim they destroyed. Anyways, let's get right to the point. In Bakhmut, it's been pretty much confirmed that the Ukrainians launched a counterattack right around here and forced the Russians back across the river line. And at first, we were told that the units defending the area were regular Russian troops, not VDV paratroopers or airborne units, not Wagner. But today, from what I've heard, there was a mix of Wagner units and regular units. And when the Ukrainians attacked, they chose to basically retreat back across the river. The Russians, they have a stronger defensive points across the river. There's trench lines all along here. It took the Russians quite a while to take Klashivka. There's a lot of trench networks that the Ukrainians had built over the years. Now the Russians control those trench networks. So um, this could be the beginning of a larger counteroffensive in the area, but it remains to be seen if the Ukrainians can capitalize on this slight victory. If we look at the deep state map, and we go back in time, you'll see the slight difference. Now, some people claim, most maps are claiming the Russians still control some kind of bridgehead to the west of the river, but other sources are claiming the Russians completely retreated to the east side of the river. Of course, establishing a salient across a river line is never easy. It's always difficult because if the enemy decides to target your bridges and your bridges are blown, that could leave the troops across the river isolated. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because on one hand, let's say the Ukrainians decided to continue their offensive and cross the river, cross the bridges that are there, then the Russians could just destroy those bridges as well. But then that would make it problematic for the Russians themselves to later cross those bridges, right? Um, in the Kharkiv offensive last year, when the Ukrainians went on the offensive, a lot of people were wondering why the Russians were not targeting the bridges over the rivers that the Ukrainians had to cross. But it's because when there's no bridge or any structure there for an army to be able to cross easily, uh, it's always problematic, right? You need you need equipment to set up pontoon bridges, bridge laying vehicles. So yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. Anyways, in other news, yeah, I'm gonna show you this map. This is from Wagner itself, and they're saying they still control somewhat of a salient across the river to the south, and the Ukrainians just took this little chunk of territory. In the rest of Bakhmut, the Russians are gaining on Ukrainian positions. They're now on the outskirts of Kramove, and allegedly they've they've pushed all the way up to this road right here. So if you look at this map, the deep state map, the Russians control most of the gray zone actually. But anyways, something else that happened is the Ukrainians tried to launch a counteroffensive in Bakhmut, and I'll just show you a video. So they launched a counteroffensive. First of all, Prigozhin put out a video, and just take the volume down. And in this video, he talks about the situation in Bakhmut, and he also complains about not receiving enough ammo. If you remember, a few days ago, he claimed that Wagner would leave Bakhmut because they weren't receiving enough ammunition. Now he's complaining about the ammunition yet again. Anyways, there's that. So the Ukrainians, they launched a little offensive in the central part of Bakhmut, and they actually, according to this video, they actually ended up bombing a prison where Ukrainian troops were being held. It's believed that they didn't know that their own prisoners were there, but anyways, this is what ended up happening. They're saying none of the prisoners were killed though, so that's good. What else? So I'm going to show you a video that shows the road to one of the roads to Bakhmut, and this is this road right here that goes to Ivanivske. This is Ivanivske right here, I believe. So yeah, somewhere along this road. Let's take a look at the video. So there's several destroyed armored vehicles and armored trucks littered all over the road. So both the main roads in and out of Bakhmut are under the Russians had fire control over those roads for quite a while. And then now they have established physical control. So I suspect that the Ukrainians are having to go. Um, they're using the roads to get where they can, and then they probably go off road, maybe, or they use dirt roads to get to the center of Bakhmut. But even then, I mean, the Russians are not far, right? So it's a really difficult situation for the Ukrainians. Now, let's take a look at another video that shows they're calling these roads, they're calling the road of death. All these armored vehicles, tanks littered everywhere. This video is from the last 48 hours, I believe. So, I mean, looks like the road's blocked right there. So, the Ukrainians are obviously losing a decent portion of their reinforcements and supplies that they're sending to Bakhmut. So, I don't know. I don't think it's worthwhile for them. The U.S. Asked them to withdraw months ago. Zaluzhny, the top general in the Ukrainian military, leading the Ukrainian military, he wanted to withdraw, but Zelensky refuses. This is a video a little older from a few days ago, 4 days ago, I think. I showed this in a previous video, but yeah, I mean, all these armored vehicles and tanks just littered everywhere. I mean, you just going on this road could be a death sentence, right? And then the average Ukrainian soldier supposedly survives 4 hours in Bakhmut, so it's pretty much a death sentence being sent to Bakhmut, more or less. And we've seen videos that show how the Russians are just firebombing Bakhmut pretty much. So the Ukrainians must be sustaining massive losses. Anyways, the Victory Day, which the Russians held on the 9th, they a lot of arrests were made in Europe because in most of Europe, people are banned from participating. Yeah, so in Latvia, they arrested this guy for laying flowers on a grave. This guy looks pretty old. It might have been one of his friends that died in the war or family members. I mean, to arrest the guy, I mean, they gave out fines in other parts of Europe, but to arrest this guy, an elderly man, I mean, that's pretty bad, right? But anyways, it is what it is. They drag him away. He's probably a veteran. They're dragging him away. Yeah, it's sad. And in Estonia, actually, this is Latvia, one of the Baltic states. In Estonia, across one of the rivers in the Narva town or region, they actually what they did is the Russians across the river, they held like a little ceremony, like a parade type ceremony, and a lot of people showed up, and yeah, the Estonian authorities weren't too happy about it. So there's a lot of tensions between Europe, the EU, and Russia in general. Anyways, that's that. And thought I would show you guys this. The Romanians have sent grad systems to Ukraine for their counteroffensive. So all of NATO is sending weapons, and these are tanks that have been sent to Ukraine. They look like the M55s, the upgraded T55s that were sent from Slovakia. They don't look like they're in the best shape, but um, yeah, I mean, this is from the last 24 to 48 hours. This is all going to be for the upcoming counteroffensive. The Ukrainians are going to launch the counteroffensive any day now. The weather is improved, so it's just a matter of time. And if we've seen this, I mean, I'm sure the Russians have seen this and they know where it's going. I'm guessing they're going to find out where it's going and it'll probably get bombed or who knows. Maybe it was uploaded days after, but I'm sure the Russians are watching all the rail lines. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.